When I was younger, I used to think one morning I would just wake up and everything would magically fall into place: my purpose, my happiness, my success. But life doesn't send invitations to transformation, it sends wake up calls. Sometimes it's failure, sometimes heartbreak, sometimes just the quiet feeling: there has to be more to my life than this. And that, my friends, is the most beautiful moment of your life, because that's when your new life begins. Not when everything is perfect, but when you decide you deserve better. So today, I'm not here to motivate you to change tomorrow. I'm here to remind you that your new life starts right here, right now. My friends, life doesn't wait for anyone. It doesn't stand at the corner saying, "Take your time, I'll be here when you're ready." No, life keeps moving, opportunities keep passing, and time keeps ticking. The most dangerous word we use when it comes to change is someday. Someday I'll be confident. Someday I'll take that risk. Someday I'll start that business, mend that relationship, take care of my health, or begin my spiritual journey. But the truth is, someday is not a day on the calendar, it's an illusion. We wait for the perfect time, but there is no perfect time. There's only this time. People say, when I have more money, then I'll start. When I have more time, then I'll focus. When I feel ready, then I'll begin. But have you noticed? That time never actually comes, because waiting doesn't bring readiness, deciding does. Readiness is born the moment you say, enough, I can't keep living like this. It's that one spark of decision that ignites an entirely new chapter of life. A man once told me, I want to change my life, but I don't know where to start. I smiled and said, start where you are. Start with what you have. Start with who you are. You don't need the whole staircase to take the first step. You only need to lift one foot. Decision is not about knowing the whole journey. It's about trusting that every step will reveal the next. You see, most people think that change happens with motivation. But it doesn't. Change begins with a decision. A simple but powerful internal shift that says, I will no longer be who I was yesterday. You can feel scared and still decide. You can feel lost and still decide. You can even feel unprepared and still decide. Because courage isn't the absence of fear. It's the decision to move forward despite it. Think about it. The biggest moments of your life didn't come because you waited. They came because you decided. You decided to say yes. You decided to walk away. You decided to believe in yourself even when no one else did. Every transformation begins at that point of decision. And the beauty of it is this: you don't need a special date, a new year, or a grand plan. Your new life can start this very second. Right now, as you're listening, you can make that decision internally to stop blaming, stop waiting, stop hesitating. Because delay is the thief of destiny. Every moment you delay, life quietly moves on without you. So don't delay your dreams. Don't postpone your peace. Don't put your purpose on hold. Decide today that you are worthy of a better life. Decide that your past no longer defines you. Decide that you will create, grow, and live intentionally. Because when you finally decide, the universe listens. Doors begin to open, opportunities begin to align, and people begin to appear. The moment you decide, the energy around you shifts. You no longer chase life. Life begins to respond to you. So don't wait for the right time. Make this time the right one. Your new life starts not when the world changes, but when you do. Decide, and everything else will begin to fall into place. So many of us are trying to build a new life while still holding tightly to the old version of ourselves. We say we want to move forward, yet our hands are full of the past, past mistakes, past labels, past pain, past people. And then we wonder why we feel stuck. My friends, you cannot step into a new chapter while reading the last one. You can't drive toward your future while staring constantly in the rearview mirror. The truth is simple, but not easy. To embrace who you are becoming, you must release who you once were. Sometimes the hardest person to let go of is not someone else, it's the old you. The version that tolerated what you didn't deserve. The version that doubted your worth. The version that accepted less because you were afraid of losing everything. But you see, growth always demands a goodbye. When you choose to evolve, you'll have to say farewell to certain habits, certain environments, and sometimes even certain people. It's not cruelty, it's clarity. You're not abandoning them, you're aligning yourself. Imagine holding a suitcase full of rocks and trying to climb a mountain. Every step feels heavier, every breath feels shorter, every thought says, I can't go on. Yet the mountain isn't the problem. It's the weight you're carrying. And that's how most people live, dragging old guilt, regret, resentment, and pain through every new beginning. You can't rise while you're rooted in what broke you. Letting go isn't weakness, it's wisdom. It's realizing that some parts of your past were only meant to teach you, not travel with you. Many people fear letting go because they mistake it for loss. But letting go doesn't mean you lose something valuable. It means you make space for something better. When you empty your hands, life can finally fill them again. Sometimes God or the universe wants to bless you with something new, but your hands are too full of what you refuse to release. How can you receive a new opportunity if you're still clinging to an old identity? Think about a snake. It sheds its skin regularly to grow. If it refuses to let go of the old skin, it suffocates. The same happens to us emotionally and spiritually. When you hold on to outdated versions of yourself, who you were in that broken relationship, that painful job, that dark season, you suffocate your own potential. You're not supposed to stay the same. You're supposed to shed, evolve, and rise. And yes, letting go hurts. It's not a switch you flip, it's a process. You'll miss parts of your past because they were familiar, not because they were good for you. But comfort isn't the same as peace. Familiarity isn't the same as freedom. The old you might feel safe, but that's only because it's predictable. Growth is uncomfortable because it's unfamiliar, but that's where life truly begins. Sometimes, the old you was built in survival mode, reactive, guarded, afraid, doing whatever it took just to get by. But you're not in that place anymore. You've grown, you've learned, you've healed enough to start again. So don't keep living like the person who only knew how to survive. Start living like the person who's ready to thrive. Letting go also means forgiving yourself for the times you didn't know better, for the times you allowed things that hurt you, for the times you stayed silent when you should have spoken up. Self-forgiveness is the most liberating act of letting go. Because every time you replay your past failures, you bind yourself to a story that no longer serves you. You can't rewrite the beginning of your life, but you can start a new ending today. So take a deep breath. Look at everything you've been carrying. The disappointments, the people who left, the mistakes you made, the words you wish you could take back, and gently say to yourself, it's time. Time to release. Time to move forward. Time to allow yourself to be new. You are not your past. You are not the things that happened to you. You are not your worst moments. You are the person who survived them, who learned from them, and who is ready to grow beyond them. Letting go of the old you doesn't erase your story, it honors it. It says, "Thank you for getting me this far, but now I'm ready for more." It's choosing freedom over familiarity. It's choosing peace over pain. It's choosing the present over the past. And the moment you let go, truly let go, something incredible happens. You stop fighting the current of life. You stop trying to swim backward. And suddenly, you begin to float, not because life got easier, but because you got lighter. So, my friends, let go of the old you, because your new life cannot begin until the old version of you finally ends. All our lives, we are trained, sometimes unknowingly, to wait for permission. Permission from parents, teachers, bosses, friends, even strangers on social media. We are taught to ask before we act, to seek approval before we believe in ourselves. And this habit silently follows us into adulthood. We begin to live our lives not from our own vision, but from the expectations of others. We start asking, is this okay? Will they approve? What will they think? And slowly, without realizing it, we become prisoners of opinions that were never meant to define us. The truth is, no one is coming to give you permission to live the life you dream of. No one is coming to tap you on the shoulder and say, "No, you may begin." That power has always been yours. The greatest tragedy is that so many people die with dreams still buried inside them. Not because they couldn't achieve them, but because they were waiting for someone else to say they could. I once met a young woman who told me, "I want to start my own business, but my parents don't believe it's safe. My friends say it's too risky." And I asked her gently, "Whose dream are you living, yours or theirs?" She paused, tears welled up in her eyes. She whispered, "Theirs." You see, my friends, we often confuse love with permission. We think that seeking approval is a form of respect. But love doesn't mean surrendering your soul. Respect doesn't mean silencing your dreams. When you live for permission, you give away your power. You start measuring your worth by someone else's comfort level. If they're happy with you, you feel successful. If they disapprove, you shrink. But that's not living. That's existing in the shadow of other people's fears. And here's the truth about people's opinions: they will change. The same people who doubt you today might admire you tomorrow. But if you keep waiting for them to believe in you first, you'll waste precious years of your life standing still. Remember this: people's approval is temporary, but your purpose is eternal. Look at every great figure who ever changed the world: saints, leaders, innovators, artists. They all had one thing in common: they stopped waiting for permission. They were misunderstood, criticized, even mocked. Yet they moved forward because their conviction was stronger than the noise around them. They didn't need validation to do what was right. You see, when you start seeking less approval, you start living more authentically. And when you live authentically, you attract people who appreciate you for who you truly are, not for the version you perform to please them. When you stop chasing applause, your energy shifts. You begin to build a life that feels good on the inside, not just looks good on the outside. It's not arrogance to believe in yourself. It's awareness. It's realizing that the same divine energy that created mountains, oceans, and stars also created you. You don't need anyone's signature on your soul's purpose. You were born worthy of walking your own path. Think about how often we hesitate because of fear of judgment, fear of failure, fear of rejection. But here's something to remember: people will judge you anyway. Even if you play small, even if you play safe, Someone will always have something to say. So, why not be judged for being yourself? Why not fail at something you love instead of succeeding at something that empties you? Every time you silence your voice to fit in, you betray a part of yourself that's meant to shine. Every time you wait for someone's permission to take a step, you delay the life that's waiting for you. You don't need a green light from the world. The light is already inside you. You are the author of your own story, not the editor of someone else's expectations. And sometimes, the ones you seek permission from are not trying to stop you. They're just afraid for you. They speak from their own limitations. They project their own fears. So don't blame them, but don't follow them either. Understand them, love them, but lead yourself. When you stop seeking permission, something powerful happens. You begin to take responsibility. You stop saying, "They didn't let me," and start saying, "I didn't choose to." You move from victim to creator. You start living with clarity, not confusion. You start making choices that align with your purpose, not your popularity. And the world needs more people like that. People who are brave enough to live their truth without apology. Because one person's courage to stop waiting gives permission to thousands of others to do the same. So, my friend, if you're waiting for someone to tell you it's okay to start, this is it. This is your permission slip. It's okay to dream differently. It's okay to walk away from what no longer fits. It's okay to say no when everyone expects a yes. It's okay to take the leap, even if no one claps for you. Your life is not an application waiting for approval. It's a gift waiting to be unwrapped. You don't need permission to be who you were always meant to be. Stand tall. Trust your heart. Move forward boldly. Because the world doesn't need another person who fits in. It needs the one who finally decides to stand out. In a world obsessed with speed, shortcuts, and instant results, we have forgotten one of the greatest truths of life. That real transformation happens slowly, quietly, and steadily. Everyone wants to take giant leaps, but very few are willing to take small steps. We scroll through success stories and think they made it overnight, not realizing that behind every so-called overnight success are years of tiny, unnoticed efforts. The power of small steps is often underestimated because they don't look impressive at first. But my friends, small steps, taken consistently, have built every great journey humanity has ever known. The reason so many people never reach their goals isn't because they lack talent or opportunity. It's because they give up too soon. They want to see the mountain moved in a day, but they forget that even a mountain can be moved one stone at a time. We look at people who've mastered their craft, changed their lives, or transformed their habits, and we think, "I could never do that." But if you ask them how they did it, they would tell you one small step every single day. When a baby takes its first step, we celebrate with joy. We don't criticize it for not running yet. We clap, we smile, we encourage it to try again. But when it comes to our own growth, we do the opposite. We shame ourselves for not being perfect instantly. We think, "I only went to the gym once this week," or "I only saved a small amount," or "I only read one page." But those onlys are sacred. They're the beginning of change. Every great habit, every beautiful life, every deep transformation begins with an only. Let me tell you a simple story. There was once a man who wanted to become wise. Every morning, he would read just one page of a philosophy book. Just one page. People laughed at him, saying, "How will one page a day ever make you wise?" Years passed. He didn't stop. One page turned into thousands. When others had quit after a week of overcommitment, he had slowly built a library in his mind. He didn't rush. He respected the process. And the process rewarded him. That's the secret most people miss. Small steps may seem insignificant today, but over time they create something massive. They build momentum. And momentum, once it starts, is unstoppable. Think of a train. When it's standing still, it takes immense energy to get moving. But once it's in motion, it can break through barriers effortlessly. That's how small steps work. They may feel slow in the beginning, but once consistency takes over, your progress becomes inevitable. Consistency is the magic ingredient. You can do something huge once and feel proud for a day, or you can do something small daily and feel proud for a lifetime. Every little act compounds. Read 1 page a day, that's 365 pages a year. Save $1 a day, that's a habit of discipline that multiplies. Walk 10 minutes a day, that's health built step by step. You don't have to do everything today. You just have to start today. We often give up because we measure our results too early. We expect to see transformation after one effort. But think of nature. A seed doesn't sprout the day it's planted. It takes time. The roots grow in silence before the flowers bloom in sunlight. And the same goes for you. Growth happens underground, in the unseen moments of effort, patience, and belief. Just because you can't see the result doesn't mean it's not working. The biggest mistake we make is comparing our chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 20. You see their results, but you don't see their small steps, the nights of effort, the mornings of discipline, the quiet sacrifices they made when nobody was watching. Stop comparing your beginning to someone else's middle. Focus on your own progress. Your journey is unique. And sometimes the smallest steps are not physical, they're emotional. Choosing to forgive, choosing to try again after failure, choosing to smile even when life feels heavy. These are powerful steps. 2. You don't always have to make a grand move. Sometimes, choosing to not give up is enough. We live in an age of speed, but don't confuse speed with success. A fruit that ripens too quickly often spoils just as fast. Be patient with your progress. Every time you take a small step, you're building strength, resilience, and confidence. And slowly, the small steps begin to transform your mindset. You stop waiting for motivation, and you start creating movement. One day, you'll look back and realize that those tiny, humble actions built something extraordinary. You'll see that you didn't need to make giant leaps. You just needed to keep showing up. Success isn't about intensity. It's about consistency. Motivation may inspire you to start, but discipline keeps you growing. So if today all you can manage is one small step, take it. If all you can give is one small effort, give it. Don't wait for the perfect plan. Don't wait for a burst of inspiration. Don't underestimate what your small actions can do over time. The power of small steps lies not in their size, but in their repetition. And remember, my friends, even the longest journey in the world began with a single step. But that step had to be taken. So start small, start imperfect, but most importantly, just start. Because one small step today can become the giant leap that changes your life tomorrow. There is an old saying that goes, "Show me your friends and I'll show you your future." And though it sounds simple, it carries one of the deepest truths of human life. The people you surround yourself with are not just part of your environment, they are part of your evolution. Every word you hear, every energy you feel, every mindset you absorb from those around you silently shapes the person you are becoming. Whether you realize it or not, your circle influences your dreams, your habits, your beliefs, and even your limits. We often think that we are strong enough to remain unaffected by others, but human beings are like mirrors. We reflect what we are exposed to. If you spend time with complainers, you'll find yourself complaining. If you spend time with dreamers, you'll start believing in possibilities. The company you keep sets the tone of your inner world. Just like a plant grows better in the right soil, you too grow better in the right environment. Think about it. You could have the best seed in the world, but if you plant it in poor soil, it won't grow. Not because the seed isn't capable, but because the environment doesn't nourish it. In the same way, you could have incredible potential, but if you surround yourself with people who drain your energy, mock your dreams, or keep you stuck in negativity, that potential will suffocate. Your talent may be yours, but your growth depends on your surroundings. There are three kinds of people in life: those who lift you, those who leave you, and those who lower you. The ones who lift you challenge you to be better. They don't compete with you, they inspire you. They celebrate your success without envy, and when you fail, they remind you that failure is not final. The ones who leave you may not be bad people. They simply belong to a different chapter. And the ones who lower you, they're the ones who keep you small because your growth threatens their comfort. You must learn to recognize which type surrounds you most, because your circle will either feed your growth or starve it. So many people stay stuck because they fear outgrowing their circle. They think, if I change, I lose them. But sometimes, losing people isn't loss, it's liberation. Growth is not rejection, it's redirection. As you evolve, your vibration changes. Some people won't align with that frequency anymore, and that's okay. Don't dim your light to stay in rooms where your brightness is misunderstood. The ones meant for you will never be threatened by your glow. They'll shine alongside you. If you truly want to start a new life, you must take a close look at who you're walking with. Are your friends cheering your growth or mocking it? Are they speaking life into your dreams or planting doubt in your mind? Do they encourage you to become your best or remind you of your worst? The energy you absorb from your circle will shape the energy you carry into the world. One honest friend who believes in you is worth more than 100 who flatter you but secretly hope you fail. Real friends are mirrors. They reflect your potential, not your limitations. They tell you when you're wrong, but they do it with love. They challenge you, but they never try to control you. And they remind you that you're capable of more, even when you forget it yourself. Sometimes your circle doesn't just shape your habits, it shapes your destiny. Think about every great person you've ever admired. No one did it alone. Behind every visionary was a circle that believed, supported, and uplifted them. The power of community is real. When you have people who believe in you, you become unstoppable. Their energy becomes fuel for your faith. But if your circle constantly drains you, mocks your dreams, or feeds your fears, it's time to make a difficult choice. You may not have to cut people off with bitterness, but you must create distance with wisdom. Protect your peace, because peace is the foundation of progress. Protect your energy, because energy is the foundation of creation. The wrong people can distract you so much that you forget who you are. The right people can remind you so deeply that you'll never forget again. Your circle is not just about friendship, it's about influence. Every conversation plants a seed. Every opinion leaves an impression. Every moment shared transfers energy. So be intentional. Spend more time with those who talk about growth, ideas, and possibilities, not with those who gossip, criticize, and complain. Be around those who make you feel like more of yourself, not less. And remember, it's not only about who surrounds you, it's also about who you become for others. Be the kind of person who uplifts, encourages, and inspires. Be the friend who listens, not the one who limits. Be the one who sees potential in others and reminds them of it when they forget. When you create a circle of mutual growth, you all rise together. At some point, you'll realize that your circle determines your ceiling. If you're surrounded by people who think small, you'll start shrinking your dreams to fit in. But if you surround yourself with people who think big, who live with purpose, and who chase meaning, you'll naturally expand. Greatness is contagious when you're around the right people. So, my friend, take inventory of your circle. Ask yourself, do they make me better? Do they bring me peace? Do they align with my values and my vision? If the answer is no, it's time to step into a new circle. One that matches the life you're building, not the life you're leaving behind. Because your circle is the invisible architect of your future. Choose wisely, walk consciously, and remember, your new life will always begin the moment you choose to surround yourself with people who remind you of your future, not your past. Forgiveness, a word that sounds gentle on the tongue, but can feel like lifting a mountain off the heart. Everyone talks about it as if it's easy, but those who have truly been hurt know it's one of the hardest things in the world to do. Yet, my friends, forgiveness is not a weakness, it is an act of great strength. It is not about surrendering to pain, it is about reclaiming your peace. Because when you forgive, you're not saying, "What happened was okay." You're saying, "I refuse to let this pain define my life any longer." We often misunderstand forgiveness. We think it means letting someone back into our lives, pretending the past didn't happen, or denying how deeply we were hurt. But that's not forgiveness, that's self-betrayal. Forgiveness is not about erasing the memory, it's about releasing the emotional grip it has over you. It's not for the one who hurt you, it's for the one who's been hurting since you. Many of us are walking around carrying invisible chains, chains made of resentment, betrayal, disappointment, and regret. We think by holding on to the anger, we're protecting ourselves from being hurt again. But in reality, we're only keeping the wound open. Every time you replay the event in your mind, you relive the pain. You give more power to the person who hurt you. You let the past steal your present. Anger feels strong, doesn't it? It gives us a false sense of control. It tells us, if I stay angry, I'm still in charge. But the truth is, anger controls you more than it protects you. It burns from the inside while pretending to be your armor. And resentment, oh, resentment is even more dangerous. It sits quietly, pretending to keep you safe, but it eats away your joy, your peace, and your energy. Let me share a story. A wise teacher once told his student to carry a sack of potatoes, one for every person he refused to forgive. The student laughed and said, "That's easy." But within days, the bag became heavy, the potatoes began to rot, and the smell followed him everywhere. When he complained, the teacher said, "That is what resentment does. You carry the weight of the past, and soon it starts to rot inside you. That's what unforgiveness feels like: heavy, exhausting, and toxic. You can't move forward while holding on to decay. And here's the things: most of the people you're angry with aren't even thinking about you. They've gone on with their lives, while you're still chained to the moment they hurt you. The question is, how long will you keep carrying them? Forgiveness doesn't mean they win. Forgiveness means you win. Your peace wins, your freedom wins, your future wins. Because when you forgive, you reclaim control over your emotions. You say, you may have hurt me once, but I will not let you hurt me every day by holding on. That's power. That's liberation. Now, let's be honest. Sometimes, forgiveness feels impossible. The wound is too deep, the betrayal too painful. But forgiveness doesn't have to happen all at once. It's a process, not a switch. You may not forgive completely today, but you can begin by saying, I am willing to forgive. That small willingness is where healing begins. Each day, the grip loosens a little more. And one day, you wake up and realize the pain no longer controls you. And then there's the hardest kind of forgiveness, forgiving yourself. We can often find compassion for others, but when it comes to our own mistakes, we become our harshest judges. We replay every wrong decision, every regret, every missed opportunity. We keep punishing ourselves long after the lesson was learned. But my friend, guilt is not a teacher. It's a jailer. It doesn't help you grow, it keeps you stuck. Self-forgiveness means accepting that you did the best you could with the awareness you had at the time. You've learned, you've grown, and now you must let yourself move on. Holding on to guilt won't make the past better. It only makes the present worse. The moment you say, I forgive myself, you're not excusing what happened. You're declaring that you will no longer let your past mistakes destroy your future peace. Some people will never apologize. Some wounds will never be justified. And that's okay. You don't need their apology to find closure. Closure doesn't come from them. It comes from your own decision to stop suffering over what you cannot change. Forgiveness is not about waiting for them to be sorry. It's about deciding you're done being angry. And yes, forgiveness doesn't mean reconciliation. You can forgive someone and still choose to keep them out of your life. Boundaries and forgiveness can coexist. You can wish someone well and still know that they are not meant to walk this path with you. The point of forgiveness is peace, not proximity. So how do you forgive? You start by acknowledging the pain, not denying it, not minimizing it. You face it fully. You allow yourself to feel the sadness, the anger, the loss. Then, when you're ready, you say the hardest words, I release you. You don't have to say it to their face. You can whisper it to the universe, to your own heart. Each time you repeat it, the chains get lighter. Forgiveness is freedom. It's the difference between being a prisoner of your past and being the author of your future. When you forgive, you're telling your soul, I choose peace over pain. I choose growth over bitterness. I choose freedom over fury. You see, life is too short to carry the weight of old wounds. The past is over, but every time you refuse to forgive, you live it again and again. Isn't it time to set yourself free? Isn't it time to travel lighter, to walk into your future without the baggage of yesterday? Forgive, not because they deserve it, but because you deserve peace. Let go, not because the pain wasn't real, but because you've carried it long enough. When you release others, you release yourself. You stop being defined by what happened to you and start being defined by what you learned from it. The moment you truly forgive, you'll feel it. A deep calm, a quiet strength, a soft joy returning to your heart. You'll breathe easier, smile deeper, and walk lighter. And that's when you'll realize something profound. Forgiveness was never about them. It was always about freeing you. One of the greatest influences on your life isn't luck, talent, or even opportunity. It's the people you surround yourself with. Your circle, your tribe, your environment, they shape you far more than you realize. You become a reflection of the people you spend the most time with. Their thoughts seep into your mind, their energy affects your spirit, and their habits influence your behavior. It's said, "Show me your friends, and I'll show you your future." And it's true, because who you walk with determines where you arrive. Think about it. If you spend your days with people who constantly complain, gossip, and focus on what's wrong with life, soon you'll find yourself doing the same. Negativity is contagious. It spreads quietly, like smoke filling a room. You may think you're immune, but over time, their pessimism becomes your pattern. On the other hand, if you spend your time with those who dream, work hard, uplift others, and seek growth, you'll rise naturally. Their energy will push you forward, their mindset will challenge you, and their example will inspire you. The people around you are like mirrors. They reflect who you are and who you are becoming. That's why it's so important to choose wisely. Not everyone who walks with you is meant to stay with you. Some people come into your life to teach you lessons, not to walk the journey with you. And sometimes, the most loving thing you can do for yourself is to let go of those who no longer align with your growth. We often hold on to relationships out of comfort or history. "I've known them for years," we say, but time alone doesn't equal alignment. You can know someone for 10 years and still outgrow them. Growth requires space, and not everyone will grow at the same pace. Some people will understand your new direction, others will resist it, mock it, or try to pull you back to who you used to be. And that's okay. You can love them from afar and still protect your peace. Have you ever noticed how your energy changes around certain people? Some people leave you drained. You feel heavy, tired, anxious after spending time with them. Others make you feel lighter. You leave their company inspired, seen, and stronger. That feeling is your intuition speaking. It's telling you who adds value to your life and who takes it away. Don't ignore that inner signal. Protect your emotional environment as carefully as you protect your physical one. You see, a plant doesn't grow in any soil. It needs the right environment: sunlight, water, care, and space. You are no different. You can have all the potential in the world, but if you're rooted in the wrong environment, you won't thrive. The people you surround yourself with are the soil in which your dreams grow. Make sure it's fertile, not toxic. Now, I know what you might be thinking. But shouldn't we help people who are struggling, who are negative, who've lost their way? Of course, compassion is important. We should lift others when we can. But here's the truth: you can't lift others if they keep pulling you down. You can offer help, but you can't heal someone who doesn't want to change. You can offer light, but you can't force someone to stop living in darkness. Sometimes, the best way to help others is by walking your own path and letting your growth inspire them. There's a saying, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. But make sure you're walking with the right people. Those who share your values, respect your journey, and challenge you to be better. Friends who celebrate your growth instead of competing with it. Mentors who speak truth into your life even when it's uncomfortable. Companions who remind you of your worth when you forget it. These are the kind of people who make your journey meaningful. When you start to grow, don't be surprised if your circle gets smaller. That's not loss. That's refinement. The higher you climb, the fewer people can handle the altitude. Everyone wants to see you doing well, but not everyone wants to see you doing better than them. And that's a hard truth to accept. But remember, your peace is more valuable than people's approval. It's okay to outgrow certain connections. It's okay to say, this no longer serves my purpose. It's okay to choose distance over drama. Be around people who talk about dreams, not people. People who bring solutions, not problems. People who discuss growth, not gossip. Because those conversations shape your thoughts, and your thoughts shape your destiny. If you're surrounded by dreamers, thinkers, and doers, you'll be forced to level up just by being in their presence. Energy rubs off, and so does excellence. Let me share something personal. In my journey, I've met two types of people: those who see your potential and want to nurture it, and those who see your potential and want to neutralize it. One will inspire you, the other will exhaust you. Learn to recognize the difference. One will clap when you win, the other will question how you did it. One will speak life into your dreams, the other will plant seeds of doubt. And that's why discernment is crucial. Not everyone deserves access to your energy. And here's something even deeper. Sometimes it's not just about removing the wrong people, but also about becoming the right person. Because while we look for good company, we must also strive to be good company. Are you the kind of person who uplifts or drains? Do you celebrate others' success or secretly envy it? Do you inspire your friends to grow, or do you make them comfortable in stagnation? The company you keep defines your destiny, but the energy you give defines theirs. Imagine your life like a ship sailing across the ocean. The people in your circle are your crew. Some help you navigate storms, some keep you balanced, and some unfortunately drill holes in your boat while pretending to row. Be aware, choose wisely. Because a storm isn't dangerous when you have loyal, wise companions. It's dangerous when you have traitors disguised as friends. Surround yourself with people who remind you of your light, especially when you forget it. People who call out your excuses but also believe in your potential. People who inspire you to live with purpose, gratitude, and humility. Those relationships are sacred. They don't just change your mood, they change your direction. And finally, remember this: no one succeeds alone. Behind every strong person is a circle of quiet supporters, mentors, friends, and loved ones who lift them when they fall and guide them when they wander. Find those people. Treasure them. Nurture those connections. And just as importantly, be that person for someone else. Because when your circle is right, your life aligns. When your environment is nourishing, your growth is natural. And when your company uplifts you, you don't just rise, you thrive. So choose wisely, love deeply, and never forget, your destiny is being shaped every single day by the company you keep.